the area towards Zidane. Nani. Rooney! Oh, wonderful! Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Good morning, Savva here, Football Heritage TV, joined by somebody who also doesn't have a TV channel, but also calls himself TV. It's Perchy TV. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you doing?
I'm well. Let me know. I've got a fan going in the background. I've got extra fanage today.
Same here. Right? If you can hear mine, I've had to turn mine down because I think you said you could hear it before.
Yeah, I can't hear it now. It's great. Do you know what? I'm so selfless. It's not for me. It's for the pug. You know, I've got to have the fan for the pug. He's a good boy. I don't want him overheating. Perchy, being a Spurs fan, first of all, actually, sorry, before I talk to you, I speak to you all the time. Big up to everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. There's 134 of you already. We've only just started. Come on, let's do the admin. It's a little bit like when you start at school or work and you get that tour and they say, in case of a fire, come to here. Don't collect your belongings. Smash the like button. Don't collect your belongings. Just smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Listen, I want to say a huge thank you. In the last 24 hours, I've had 248 subscribers in the last 24 hours. So I can't complain. I've got some very generous people. Please go over and subscribe to Perchy as well, who's putting out great content for people every day. Subscribe to all the Spurs content creators. And let's see, the next milestone is going to be 7,250. We broke the 7,000 barrier last night.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And we're going to try and smash down the 10K barrier as soon as possible. Anyway, enough about me and YouTube subscribers and stuff. Tottenham Hotspur. Last night I went to the gym, Perchy. And I was saying, because so my personal trainer is a good friend of mine who I worked with in Malia 21 years ago. And he's a big Arsenal fan and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're sitting there talking. And he said, how's YouTube world work? And I said, look, I'll be really honest. What we thrive on is we need news. So we need news. I said, what I need to do is I need to get back to the car. I need to look at my phone and see this, that, the other.
Yep. I
get back to the car and it's Davinson Sanchez. And I'm like, okay, right. So me and the missus, we do PT together. You know, we're so romantic.
Yep. Very cute.
But yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, it is. She lifts more than me as well. So, so we're driving back and I'm doing this video like this in the car about Sanchez. And I thought, I can't release that. Like I'm bobbing up and down. Anyway, get back, jump on. Just as we're jumping on stream, the Van de Ven is close, breaks. So you've got Sanchez, you've got Van de Ven. I wake up this morning to a WhatsApp from you about Giovanni Lo Celso. That monologue was a long-winded way of me saying, Perchy, things are finally moving at Spurs, right? We're finally looking at outgoings as well as incomings.
I agree. Do you know what it's like? It's like they listen to us, Savva. Me and you, we were sat on my show having a bit of a moan. On Saturday, was it Saturday?
But we're having
a bit of a moan on Saturday saying, why is it all dried up? And then we come to Monday and then Tuesday and everything's happening. So guys in the chat, you need to thank me and Savva for moaning a lot. And that's the reason why stuff's happening. So we are the reason why things are happening now.
Absolutely.
But on serious terms, it's what we've been asking for. We needed this stuff happening. As I said, I will still stand by my statement. The news is positive and it's good, but it's all about Thursday. This stuff has to happen on Thursday because that's when the plane takes off. Plane takes off on Thursday. Yeah. So realistically, we need to see the likes of, it looks like Solomon's signing today. It looks like Van de Ven is going to be signing relatively soon. It looks like a deal has been done. And for me, I just think at the moment we need to just start going a bit positive now. Like, let's look at it what it is. But it has to happen by Thursday. It makes no difference if, for example, then Van der Ven's having to fly out on his own. Like the idea, you want these players. We talk about players and what they do in it. You want them to be bonding with the team. You want them. You want this lad to be in with all the players on the same plane, interacting with his new teammates. Because we all talk about the football side. We don't talk about the personal side a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look, first and foremost, all transfers start with a transfer rumor. All transfers then descend into negotiations, and then transfers then get signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. So, look, this is positive news. Let's start with the news this morning. We'll go to Van der Ven and Sanchez in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Start with the news this morning. Giovanni Lo Celso signed for Spurs in 2019, if I'm not wrong. Yeah?
It feels too long, doesn't it? It is too long.
The summer of 2008, because it would have been Poch's last transfer as a manager.
Yeah.
So that was the window of Ryan Sessegnon, Jack Clark, Lo Celso and Ndombele. Just remember at the time, Percy, all the fans going, these are the four that Poch desperately wanted. He's got his own players. Then when it didn't work out, it was Poch wasn't backed. Anyway, we won't go there.
Let's not go down that road.
Lo Celso's been here now for 4 years. This would be, in essence, his 5th season coming up with Tottenham. The news coming in today from Fabrizio Romano. Lots of people get really annoyed when we use Romano as the gospel, but look, Romano's the go-to guy. He's the one that announces it.
The thing is with Romano, what people don't realize is what Romano is he's like Sky Sports News in a sense. It's all centralized. So everything with Romano goes directly to, he takes everything and then puts it out. So he's a great way to listen because he just says everything what everyone else is saying, but it centralizes it for us lot.
Exactly. Yeah, you need a source of truth. And the thing is as well, for those people, like I woke up this morning with, oh my God, why do you all hang on every word from Romano? Well, it's not hanging on every word. But the thing is, if I put out, oh my God, Jack from my local pub, the Dog and Duck, isn't my local pub, by the way, has said Spurs are signing Van der Ven. No one's going to believe that. Here is what hopefully you guys and girls at home can read that. If you can't, I'll read it out to you. It says, not just Galatasaray's 9 million bid for Davinson Sanchez. Understand that Tottenham have been approached by Real Betis for Giovanni Lo Celso. There are 2 to 3 clubs in the race for Lo Celso, but Betis are keen on opening talks in the next weeks. Spurs are aware of that. Now, look, for me, I don't care. I don't know about you, Percy. I don't care. With incomings, I want them in because I want them to gel, to bond, to be on that plane or to play some of the friendlies. With outgoings, I'm a little bit more relaxed as long as we know it's happening. So I don't need Lo Celso out the door by Thursday night. I don't care, right? Levy will care because it's less wages, but I don't need him out by then. But it's positive, right? Yeah. Lo Celso, 2 to 3 other clubs as well as Real Betis. No fee was mentioned there. What sort of fee do you think it will be? And do you think that it's the right time for Lo Celso to be heading out of the exit door?
Just to sort of go on to what your point is, I think the key point with outgoings is what you don't want to see. And I think this is the part where just to sort of caveat what you said about it doesn't really matter about what time these out. What you don't want is these players that we know we want outgoing are on the plane.
Right. Yeah.
If they're on the plane on Thursday, tells you that they're part of the squad. Realistically, it happened under I want to say Jose. If you remember, I think it was under Jose when they were going out for pre-season, and then everyone went, "Oh my God, why are these players? These players weren't on. These players aren't involved in the pre-season," which tells me that there was offers being linked to them, or it may have been under Conte. I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. But in a sense, what you want to see on Wednesday is these players aren't on that, and that means you basically say these players are available. Theoretically, these players are available. A fee for Lo Celso. I mean, if you got anything north of 20 million, you've absolutely pulled the trousers down. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think in theory, realistically, the biggest part of it's getting the wage bill down. Does that make sense? I think transfer fees are a bonus. If we get anything for these players, it's a bonus. I think we have to write off those transfer fees. Yeah. But I think it's about getting players like Lo Celso off the wage bill. He's on 160 grand or whatever it is a week. need to clear that. Same with the likes of Perisic, etc., etc.
Yeah. And by the way, Fabrizio Romano, we'll come to this a bit later, has just announced that documents are signed, sealed, medical done, and Manuel Solomon is due to be a Spurs player later today. So news coming all the time. By the way, for anyone that talks about Romano, it's great that I can just get an alert from Romano's.
Exactly.
That I'm not on Twitter. I'm on his Fred's page.
Notifications on, done. Just we get a buzz, and then all you do is you look at it when it buzzes, you go Tottenham. Okay, now I'm interested. Let's see.
Do you know what it also does as well? It allows, I suppose it's important for YouTubers, but for football fans in general, it allows us to keep up in terms of what's going on everywhere else. Like, I know people go, I only care about Spurs, but I want to know who's moving from where. I want to know who my rivals are signing and letting go of, etc.
I mean, the other one, the big one, obviously, is Milinkovic-Savic is the other one, isn't he? He's off to Saudi Arabia.
We'll talk about that in a bit. But by the way, there are 280 of you in here, 290 now. Smash the like button. We're at 70 likes. Let's let you know the rules. Let's get to 200 likes as quickly as possible. And in the meantime, we have got a super chat from Strasbourg, Steve. Big up, Steve. We were talking about you last night, Steve. I don't mind saying it. Perchino were WhatsApping last night, just said your football knowledge, nothing bad, by the way. Your football knowledge was just unrivaled, mate. Like,
mental.
I've never known anyone watch 9 games of football at the same time, knows every player, knows all this stuff. But listen, thank you very much. It is much appreciated. Smash the like button. For anyone that hasn't subscribed, please do. Let's get to, look, we smashed 7,000 last night. Let's get to 7,100 as quickly as possible. We're 21 subs away from that. Please keep liking. Put your questions in for them to be guaranteed to be read out. Put them as a super chat. If not, I'll get to as many as possible. You know I will always try my best. The more people that watch, though, it is really difficult to read out every question. And just quickly, while we're talking about super chats, we got a super sticker from Santu. Big up, Santu. Always in the chat. Always very supportive. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. And before we move on, smash the like, subscribe, and let's go. Yeah, I mean, with Lo Celso, for me, I agree with you. For me, look, Daniel Levy might not see it this way, but for me, I don't think it matters if you get your 25, 20 million.
Yeah.
If you can get 15 million for him, I think, 15 million for him. You got 10 million for Winks. If you can get nearer 10 million for Sanchez, you start adding up, and there you go. That's tap sober. Do you know what I mean? That's those 3 players is tap sober. Lo Celso, it never quite worked, did it? Why didn't it quite work for Lo Celso at Tottenham over the years?
I mean, I think the key one with Lo Celso was, I don't think anyone knew what his position was. And when I say that, I think some people go, oh, he's a number 10. Some go, oh, he's number 8. Some people go, he's number 6. I went, when the collective fan base don't know your best position, that terrifies me. For example, let's just use an example. James Maddison's in. We all know he's your number 10, or he'll play in a number 10 style role. Everyone knows that. Some people go, Lo Celso, he can play as a 9, he can play there. He's the jack of all trades, master of none. He didn't really do much. I think he had a period under Jose Mourinho where he was all right. I think fans went over the top with it, but I felt like that's what we do as fans anyway. We get very over the top when it comes to the likes of our players, and we want to try and justify anything. For me, I think he's been terrible. I think, again, I could probably name a handful of good games. I mean, and that's absolutely pushing it completely. I think it messed up him and Ndombele, the pair of them, just hasn't worked out at all. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah. By the way, I think we both know that we fly Friday. I think we're talking about Thursday, as in like having everything done, wrapped up, ready to go. Yeah. But people will, if you make a tiny little stick like that, people will.
Thursday, Friday, as these players, as long as they're signed by Thursday, is the point what we're trying to make here.
Do you know what? I did a video the other day about Højbjerg, and for some reason I said Emmerich instead of Emil. As in like Aubameyang, Pierre.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I afterwards I was like, oh my god, I know I've said that wrong, but it's recorded now, it's done.
Oh, don't
the number of people that don't respond to talk about the subject, but it's actually Pierre. You're like, yeah, all right, I know. Like,
I did it the other day. I had one. I went. Good morning. Hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday. Everyone in the chat going, you do realize it's Tuesday. You do realize it's Tuesday. I went, okay, sorry, I just get days wrong.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, Paul Ricketts and Ornstein's go to. Yeah, look, I have 3 different accounts up on my screen. I have Ornstein, Romano, and Paul O'Keefe. I like to check what these guys are saying. You normally know how good a transfer rumor is if they're all saying it.
Agreed,
but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, look, I think the problem with Lo Celso is I think it's another player where, look, I watch not as much as Strasbourg Steve, but I watch a lot of football. Obviously, you watch the Spanish league religiously because you live out there. Yep. I think Lo Celso was another player for me that was signed off the back of half a good season where he got a spate of goals, but without really a plan as to how he fit into Tottenham. And what I was going to say is that the players we look to be going for at the moment seems like they fit into a Postecoglou system rather than what we've done the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, which is buying players just because they're available. Does that make sense? Am I chatting rubbish?
I get your point. I think the key point with Lo Celso is the key point with Lo Celso is he's been on several loans now. Let's be honest, he hasn't really been settled at a football club for a period. That, for me, as a fan, that sends alarm bells. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He was at PSG, went on loan to Betis. They then signed him, but they then sold him to Tottenham, who then he stayed for a year, who then sent him out on loan to Villarreal. How long has he been at Villarreal for?
Yeah, exactly. No, mate, listen, I was going to say, it's the same as Ndombele. I think sometimes when you look at a player, if they are moving around constantly, and I don't mean for example, someone who moved around a lot was Christian Vieri. But Christian Vieri moved around because he scored bundles of goals wherever he went, and all the best clubs bought him, and his transfer fees went up and up. Di Maria's moved around because he's had a great career playing for Real Madrid, Man United, PSG. When I look at Ndombele and Celso, for example, these players, and another one you might put into that bracket, not as bad, I don't think, is Serge Reguilon.
Yeah,
these players have played for 4 or 5 teams in the last 4 years, and that sends alarm bells for me, mate. That why can't they settle anywhere?
And equally, these teams that they're going out on loan to, none of them want to buy him. Normally, let's put it into context. If a loan player does well at a club, then usually they go, do you know what? I'm going to try and get him. But none of these teams, that you don't even hear murmurings of them trying to sign. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. You never hear they want to sign him, but they can't afford the wages, so they're going to pull out of it. You never really hear that. You just hear, no, they're not interested. And Ndombele at Napoli didn't happen. Same at Lyon. Everyone was telling me, he'll go back to Lyon. They went, we're okay. Same with Napoli. Same with Lo Celso at Villarreal, and all that lot. So I find it that for me, as I said, you said as well, alarm bells ring going, these players can't settle at a club. There's got to be a reason why. It can't be that everyone else is wrong and these players are right, which I keep hearing from people.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about stingy people. We talk about Levy being stingy. There's 345 of you in the chat, only 111 likes. Smash the like button. We've not had a single subscribe this morning. Smash that subscribe button. Let's get to 7,100 as quickly as possible. Get your questions in. We will get round to them. I think for me, I think you've hit the nail on the head, mate. I think Lo Celso is one of those. I don't know what he is. I don't think he's particularly got a good engine. I don't think he's got legs on him. I don't think he's a goal scorer. I don't see him as a creator. And someone always says to me, one of my mates always says to me, have you noticed how weak he kicks the ball? Like, it feels like it's always, it just made me laugh because it's
true.
It's not something you normally talk about when talking about a player's capability, but it always seems like it's a big effort for him to get the ball from A to B. But again, another one I see fans going, oh my God, no, Ange would get the best out of him. And I want to know, when I hear this about Ndombele, when I hear this about Lo Celso and players like that, what is this magical best that we've never seen from them that fans think is going to come out? Is this purely because of the transfer price we paid for them that people think they're better than they are.
Agreed. I think, but do you know what it is? I think you're right in context on what you're saying. I think it's fans trying to justify price tags. So we're going, oh, well, he must be good because we paid insert massive figure for him. And it's like, oh, no, sometimes you just pay a lot of money for a player and it doesn't work out and we get it wrong. And I think that's the key bit. Yes, I do. Barcelona, beautiful city. But yeah, no. So, and I think that's the key part for it is that it's transfer. I don't think we have these conversations if we sign a £10 million player and it doesn't really work out. We go, bought a cheap player, didn't work out, we've offloaded him. But because we've paid such money for the likes of Ndombele and Lo Celso, they're the two great examples with it. I feel like fans, because they feel like, I think it's fans know that we can't get rid of them, so they're trying to justify them being back in the squad. I don't want to see them back in this team at the moment. I'll be honest, neither of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Nick, Barry, Ranjit, whatever you call yourself these days. Emerson Royals #1 fan. He said we're signing 3 centre backs, VDV, Tapsoba, and Longley. We'll get to the centre backs in a bit when we talk about Van der Ven. But remind me that I have seen this morning that Juventus want Longley. So interesting times. There's so much going on in this transfer market. Not Spurs only. I mean, like so much going on around Europe. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Let's move away from Giovanni Lo Celso. Actually, one last question. He's obviously played for Real Betis. It's where Spurs bought him from and had that season where he got some goals and everyone raved about him. Who else do you see? Do you see it being 3 other Spanish clubs going in for Lo Celso, or could we be looking at? I mean, Saudi Arabia are gobbling up absolutely everyone. I mean, Serge Milenkovic-Savic is the latest player that we've all drooled over for about 2 years. When I say we, I mean football fans, not Spurs fans. He's now going there. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be all Spanish, or do you think there's going to be clubs from other places?
I think Betis, Villarreal are 2 ones, big prime ones examples. Yeah. I was more hopeful in the sense of Aston Villa would go in for him. Did really well with Unai Emery at Villarreal. For me, it would have just sort of been would have made a lot of sense. Saudi Arabia, listen, that would be the beauty because that would clear a lot of it. Because the problem what we're going to have here with Lo Celso and Ndombele again, to put them in the same bracket, is the wages. They're not going to be able to pay the 150 grand a week or 160 grand a week he's on. So we're going to end up having to pay a lot of that off, and that's going to be the thing, and that's the key part for me. Is it's trying to find.
He's an idiot, isn't he?
Yeah, God, he's the delusional one, the Emerson Royale fan club, master of one. And I think with Lo Celso, I think you could see a few Spanish clubs going in for him. I think you might end up seeing a lot of clubs trying to get a bargain out of him, going, do you know what? Spurs want to get rid of him. We might be able to, if we offload a lot of his wages, subsidize his wages and stuff like that, what might end up happening.
Yeah,
just
absolutely
hard.
By the way, quickly, yes, please don't talk like this. Let's not. It's at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Judas did. It's football. I'm not wishing. Yeah. Come on. This is ridiculous. We're not wishing death on anybody. Nobody should die because they move from one football club to put on a different color shirt, another club. Come on, let's there's banter about it. Yeah, there's hate there, but come on, let's be sensible, please. Again, this sentence is a sentence I've heard for before. We're going to talk about Van der Ven, but this is a sentence I've heard for I don't know how many years. He could be special, just lacks the work rate. It doesn't the fact that he lacks the work rate tell you that he'll never be special? Isn't it the other way around?
Absolutely spot on. I mean, Ndombele could be special. I mean, if I worked out every single day, I might be a professional athlete. Do you know what I mean? If buts, maybes. For me, the problem with Ndombele is attitude stinks. And I'm sorry, this attitude that is, I just deserve it because I'm this. And the fans that lap it up really annoy me because I'm sitting there going, why? I would rather, and listen, this will probably get clipped and people will go, I would much rather have Harry Winks in my side, who may not be technically the most gifted player in the world, but works his socks off for the team, than have the most technically gifted player like Ndombele that doesn't care about us. Does that kind of make sense? I'm not saying they're comparable, but my point being is I'd much rather see 11 people that work super hard for the team than have 11 people that are massively skillful but don't care and don't work hard for it.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Look, at the end of the day, Ndombele, I'm so bored of hearing this guy's name. Like, I'm so bored of hearing, oh, technically he's a genius. Is he? Like, all right, he looks good on the ball, but if you have no output, what's the point? And I'm not just saying, by the way, I'm not just saying goals and assists. If you have no output on a game, if you have no, if he's as good as we say, work rate or not, he should run games of football. He should run games. For example, do you remember Morecambe?
That was the last game before I moved.
Right. Morecambe, in that game, Morecambe should have been coming off that pitch going, oh my God, could anyone get the ball off that bloke? Like, oh my God, that bloke ran the game. But instead he was booed off by Spurs fans. But yet 4 years later, about to come into a fifth season, and I'm still hearing people comparing him to Gaza. People saying that technically he's one of the best players in the world. Can we get the best out of him? What's this best? Because I hear that he's a playmaker, right? I'll tell you what, let's have a look. This playmaker, I'm going to, this playmaker that we speak of, right? Wherever he's been, what's his name? Tungai Ndombele. God, there's so many Ndombeles and Ndombeles, right? Tungai Ndombele. For this wonderful playmaker, his best season of assists is 6, right? And his best season of goals is 3. So I don't know what it is people keep talking about when they say the best out of him. We've got to understand what is it's like meat. It's like someone turning around and going, let's get the best out of Savva today on YouTube and get him to 100,000. Well, I've never been at 100,000 subs, so what? It doesn't matter. Exactly. I've never done that, so nothing says I can until I get. Do you know what I mean? So it's
and also just to sort of add, if he was so technically gifted that everyone says, why haven't the likes of Barcelona got him? If he was as technically gifted as everyone tells me he is, he's the most technically gifted player, then why haven't the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona, who thrive with players like that, they don't care. They've got happy players with attitude. But do you know why they don't want him? Do you know the reason why the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid don't want the likes of Ndombele? Because he doesn't work hard. You don't get into teams like that because he would be dismissed from that team if he was there.
I think this is an interesting one. I mean, beyond 72, you raise a good debate. I'm going to look at it from both sides. I agree. Someone like Berbatov, by the way, Berbatov didn't work hard because what we didn't see from him was him running around like a headless chicken. But what you would notice with Berbatov, he was so clever that he put himself into positions on the pitch where he wasn't marked.
Agreed.
So Berbatov wasn't a runner, but he delivered. Now, the problem obviously is, and I agree with you on that, the problem is if you are a central midfielder, you can't get away without working hard. Like, I don't care whether you're a central midfielder on a 2, in a 3. You cannot work hard. If Perchie and me are a central midfield pairing, as we are right now on the screen, I'm on the left side just for the way I'm looking at it, by the way. You guys might be looking at it. I'm on the right side.
You're on the left on mine.
If I work really, so I'm going to make Perchie, you're on Ndombele in this scenario. If I'm working really, really, really hard, on the left-hand side of the pitch, people will focus the ball down Perchie's channel of the left, of the right, because they know that he doesn't work hard. They know that it's going to be an easier passage through to our goal because he won't mark. He's not going to track back. He's not going to get stuck in, where they know I will. And for me, it's too much emotion. It's too much emotion with Ndombele. And as I said, he so far for Spurs, in his first season at Spurs, he got 2 goals, 2 goals in 21 appearances. Okay. His second season, he got 3 goals in 33 appearances. Then he had 9 games for Spurs before he was shipped out on loan to Lyon. Then he was shipped out on loan to Napoli. So this man hasn't put on a Spurs shirt for nearly 2 years.
Yeah. But
Right.
but just to put your point on the
Madness.
Berbatov one, where I do you know what? Berbatov did have work rate, but his work rate was up here, up in his brain. He knew he got into positions that completely stopped, and he got himself. He didn't have to work hard on the pitch because he'd already worked hard up in his brain and got himself in positions that were just incredible. That's the slight difference. I mean, when we say about work rate as a striker, he's not going to sit there and press high. It was a different system, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll come back to this question in a minute. Just quickly, I have missed some super chats. By missed, I mean I haven't read them out yet. Please like. We've only got 145 likes and 425 of you in the chat, and we've only had one subscriber throughout the whole morning. So after the highs of last night, let's smash that subscribe button if you haven't. And it really does help YouTubers when you like and subscribe. Let's get to 7,100, and please subscribe to Perch as well and help him on his way to the 2,000 mark. Where are we? So we've done Strasbourg Steve, we've done Santo. Another one from Strasbourg Steve where he says, geez, coming out. Sonny Anderson and Klaas Jan Huntelaar also moved around but smashed it wherever they went. Yeah. I'm all for players moving around. I think the difference is if you move around on loan a lot because you don't do well off somewhere, that's a huge difference. But yeah, absolutely. Sonny Anderson was a quality player, by the way. And Huntelaar was unique, I would say. He was a unique footballer.
I think Huntelaar was one of those strikers you just went, somehow he was bagging in goals everywhere. And he used to score everywhere.
He did. I remember him scoring a cracking goal for, was it for Real Madrid or against Real Madrid? Anyway, and big up to Troy Schramm, who's becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you very much, Troy. As I said, at the beginning of next season, we'll be doing channel member only shows where it's just channel members that we can all sit around and talk. It's a little bit more intimate, so to speak. And listen, if you want to become a channel member like Troy, please just click on the little icon next to the
join button next to subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely.
The join button next to subscribe. Just
subscribe. Absolutely. Where are we? Okay, let's move it on. Let's move it on from Ndombele and Lo Celso. There are questions. I will get to them. Philia said Ndombele is a mercenary. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could have been awesome. Well, so could anyone.
Exactly.
This is the problem. Do you know what? Just before we move on, I'm not even saying I need to see Ndombele run around like Mo Farah. Right?
No.
I just need to see some
effort,
work rate from some effort.
Yeah.
And I can't understand how a professional footballer that trains week in, week out can look that tired 5 minutes into a game.
It's mad. It's absolutely terrifying. Like, it's like me on the pitch. Literally. It's terrifying.
Absolutely. Smash the subscribe button, you type people. 413. Smash the subscribes. Let's get to 7,100 by the end of this show. Where are we? Let's talk about Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven, Tapsoba. Apparently, they go hand in hand now. Like, they've got nothing to do with each other, really. Both play for different clubs, but they seem to be going hand in hand. Romano put out news last night that a deal was close, that the clubs have had positive talks, and we were nearing a figure. So I asked the chat. I put in the poll and said, what was my question? Is Van der Ven finally going to get over the line? Now, of 215 votes, still 24% are saying no. So there's still over 50 people that do not trust Tottenham to get this deal done. It's understandable with our track record. Where are you? Are you feeling a bit more confident now that Van der Ven will be a Tottenham Hotspur player this week?
Yeah, I think it will get done now. I think now that the fee's been agreed, I think it will get done very quickly now. I think you'll start hearing. I think once Manor Solomon's announced, you're going to start hearing the ball rolling rather quickly for Van der Ven. Because the fact is, once now a fee's basically been closed. I know Romano did come out and say it hasn't been fully agreed, but it's positive news. Tells me that it will get done. For me, as I said, the key one for me is it not when it's done, it's when it's done. I'm going to be positive and say it like that. I think for me, I want to hear news that Romano comes out and said, I want to hear a here we go today or tomorrow, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it would be really good, wouldn't it? I mean, it's amazing in football how, listen, I know lots of people say be patient. Lots of people say, these things take time. But look, we're football fans. We're passionate. We're emotional. We want to see our team do better. We want to see the signings. But can you imagine if by Friday Spurs are travelling with Maddison, with Vicario, with Solomon, with Tapsoba, with Van der Ven, suddenly I think, that's 4 or 5 players that go straight into the first team.
Agreed.
That now gives me a renewed person. Me personally, as a football fan, I don't speak for you. I don't speak for everyone in the chat, but for me personally, it gives me a renewed interest in watching Spurs again, a renewed optimism that I'm not watching Davis. I'm not watching Dyer. I'm not watching, Lo Celsos and Ndombele's, Winkses, Sissoko's, all of these players.
Yep.
Do you feel that this could be done? Both of these could be done. Are we looking at one of them?
I think if one of them, I think Van der Ven more likely than Tapsoba, because at the moment the noise that's coming out, it's one or the other. But there is a lot of hint and a lot of speculation that actually maybe this is just Spurs playing down, so that both clubs don't start pushing up fees and stuff. That actually we might start. We might go in and get both. I think big up, best name on YouTube.
I mean, great picture as well. Is that I thought that was a tongue. It's not a tongue. So
it's a tie, isn't it? Tie.
Yeah. At first I thought, why is the tongue not attached to the mouth?
It's just a dragon with a tie. Why are you acting surprised?
I know. Sorry, my bad.
The normalities of life. But yeah, no. So as I was saying, I just want to sort of see if we see one on the plane. As I said, I think getting them on the plane is more about than less about the footballing side, more is about the personal side. I want to see these lads integrating with these teams. Listen, it wouldn't bother me, hear me out, if Van der Ven was on the plane and then maybe the beginning of next week, say Monday, Tapsoba's done and he's on a plane and he's flying to Australia for the first game against West Ham. Wouldn't bother me that. But for me, it's about getting these players in early to integrate into the squad. Because when I hear nonsense like the window's not shut, all this stuff, and I sit there and go, think about it as you as a person and then put that into it. Would you want to join a team? I'm not saying that players don't, because players do it for obvious reasons, but I'm saying would you rather be signed now where the season's nowhere near starting, we've got pre-season, and then they get to integrate with these players out in air quotes holiday? I mean, they're not on holiday, but you know what I mean. They're at a different country, away from normalities of life, and they're trying to integrate together on pre-season. Over signing two weeks into the start of the Premier League season on deadline day, they then have to integrate immediately, and then boom, you've got a start problem. Then it's international break, and then it's start after 2 weeks. Get these players in quickly; it benefits much more. But as I said, I want to see at least one defender. I did say I want two to be done before, but listen, I'll be frank and honest. If we get both of them over the line, I'll be like, fair play, we've done well there. But we should have had at least one of them signed already, but if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think people are starting to lose the point here. Just going back to the Ndombele situation, people are really starting to lose the point. First of all, this comment made me laugh. Højbjerg and Skip are passion and desire merchants. I think, do you know what? Sometimes football fans lose me the moment they call anything a merchant.
Oh, no, merchant
drives me
It kills
mad.
me off.
It drives me mad. Højbjerg and Skip are passion and desire merchants, but they can't pass wind. It would be foolish not to give Ndombele a chance, considering the dross in the middle of the park. Right, let's break this down. First and foremost, Percy and I weren't saying that we only want people with desire. What we were saying was we want better midfielders that can do it all, right?
Yeah, agreed.
But just because you've got talent doesn't mean you can't work hard.
Agreed.
But you wouldn't. I speak for me. Percy will speak for him. You won't find me anywhere saying Højbjerg and Skip should be in our 11. So
yeah, exactly.
So judging these players against each other doesn't mean anything. For me, we've got better midfielders than Højbjerg and Skip. Bentancur, Basuma, Maddison. I think we will find another 6 in the next year or so. So for me, I don't think I don't think anyone's foolish not giving him a chance. He's had 4 years.
Yeah.
If 4 years isn't a chance, what is?
But I mean, this is the key point here. Neither of us have said that Højbjerg and Skip, as you said, should be in our starting 11. Is point one of this. Point two is the fact that Højbjerg and Skip get minutes at Tottenham and he doesn't. Surely that should say
tells you everything you need to know.
Should say a lot more. The fact that these players that are have less ability.
Yeah.
Start for Tottenham, and we have to ship Ndombele out to club after club because we can't get rid of him. That says more than anything.
Absolutely. Achichi, he's playing devil's advocate a little bit more. Big up to you, and said, who was the coach that didn't play in the past 2 years? What did the football look like without him compared to the football Jose served up with him? Just playing devil's advocate. Look, I wasn't a fan of Conte, as everyone knows. I wouldn't say the football under Jose Mourinho was great either. Jose Mourinho dropped this guy. Conte didn't play this guy.
Yeah.
The Napoli manager didn't play this guy.
Nuno didn't play this guy, did he?
Nuno didn't. If we're not seeing a pattern,
yeah,
I'm worried. What we're doing is we're doing that thing as fans where we make a lot of excuses. Here's the question for me. If this bloke had the last 4 years he's had at Spurs playing for Arsenal, we'd all be laughing at, okay, look at Pepe.
Yeah, great shout.
Look at
I was
Pepe.
just thinking that.
Oh my God, 72 million on Pepe. What a waste. What's he done? He's been rubbish. All right. Ndombele, what's he done? Right?
Nothing.
But if any Arsenal fan said to an Arsenal fan right now, oh no, I just think Pepe needs a chance, they'd go, what? No, you upgrade, you get better.
Yeah.
But we're a very sentimental bunch at Tottenham Hotspur.
And this is the thing though, and I tell you this, it's transfer fee driven. Because he's a lot of money, people want to make excuses for it. And I've seen it a lot, by the way, on different players. If that was a £5 million player that we signed, people would have gone, oh, he's crap. I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head. Like I can't think of one directly, but like if that was a £5 million player who was crap, we'd have gone, get rid of him. He's crap.
Yeah, get rid of him. Exactly. This is the thing. I mean, I've never known an industry where someone can do absolutely nothing for 4 years whilst being paid so handsomely, right, as one of the best players of the club, and then isn't sacked, but yet people want to give him another chance. If you did this badly in your job for four weeks, let alone 4 months, let alone 4 years, you'd be sacked.
Exactly. Bang on.
Right.
That's the thing. And
it makes me
laugh.
laugh.
I think you just put in the chat just saying, I was saying because they're not attack-minded coaches. But that for me says more about him as a player than anything else. The fact is what do the likes of Jose and Conte, however much we criticize, I was a big fan of Jose, you weren't a big fan of Conte.
Winners.
The one thing that those players are key for is hard work. And the fact is this player...
But so is Postecoglou. By the way...
Exactly,
This whole notion that I hear that, but he was under... Right, first of all, he was under negative managers. You still have to work hard if you play for an attacking manager. Do you think one of the best attacking managers in the world in terms of Pep Guardiola, do you think that his midfielders don't work their socks off?
Yeah.
You know,
that's a great point, by the way. Because if Ndombele needs to be playing under an attacking manager, why hasn't Pep Guardiola signed him? No, he signs the likes of Rodri and has the likes of Gundogan who work their absolute socks off in midfield. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, Bentancur won't be back for the start of the season. The reports were saying that he'll be back playing by the end of November, December. Well, I don't know if that's changed.
I read it was back training by November, maybe not even playing till December. Right, maybe I might be wrong as well.
Yeah, but which basically means, obviously, Man City fan here, but it basically means that we need to find something to do in the meantime, and that's obviously a lot of the conversation. There are loads of comments. Some other messages in the chat. First of all, big up, Nick. Thank you very much for the congratulations. I really do appreciate that. On that note, please smash the subscribe. We've had 2 subscribers in 47 minutes, which is really poor.
I got 3. You people are lovely.
Wow, 3. And there's 459 people in the chat. Unlike Ndombele, respect the work rate, people. Respect the work rate.
Respect the grind.
I think the thing is, I mean, when we're talking about players like Jimmy Greaves, we're talking about players like Lionel Messi, we're talking about those players aren't in the team for work rate, are they? Those players are in the team because they're the match winners. They're the ones that drag you to titles. But I've just never known a player cause such divide like Ndombele, who's done absolutely nothing for the club. Like we did this with Dele Alli. Dele Alli for 3 years was crap. For 3 years he was awful, and everyone was.
But the difference with Dele Alli though, at least he did turn up at the start. Yeah, I agree. It completely tailed off.
I agree, but we're so emotional with it.
Agreed.
Other clubs go, "I'll get rid of this bloke." Do you know what I mean? Get rid of them. No. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea just cleared out 10 of their players. Yeah. There's no sentiment.
Other clubs would have sold Dele Alli for 90 million quid to Real Madrid when the offer was there. Other clubs would have done that. When that offer's there, you look back and go, God, imagine if we'd have just done that 90 million quid deal for Dele Alli, you'd have snapped your hand off it.
But our fans would have cried.
Yeah,
whenever one of our players is linked away, our fans lose their mind.
We're having it now at the moment with Harry Kane.
I mean, whoever it is, our fans will lose their mind. Oh my God. I remember at the time, Eric Dyer, they were talking about Man United bidding 50 million. Yeah. Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen. You know, Liverpool got rid of Coutinho, smashed that money on Alisson and Van Dijk. Next thing you know, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, Super Cups, World Club Cups. I suppose it's just how you want to act. Q7, thank you very much, channel member, and always very generous, has said, congrats on the 7K, brother. I think we get Van de Ven done. Can't see Levy doing both. If we get rid of a couple, maybe another centre mid. Is that a good enough window? Listen, I mean, look, this is the thing. I think Daniel Levy can win some brownie points by getting both.
Agreed.
I know that's not how he operates as a chairman, as an accountant, but I truly believe if Daniel Levy gives a playmaker in Maddison, 2 centre halves in Tapsoba and Van de Ven, a new number 1 goalkeeper, Solomon as squad depth, and then buys another central midfielder like a defensive midfielder, plus gets rid of 5 or 6 of the deadwoods, I don't think anyone could turn around for this window, not for the 23 years, but for this window and say he's not done his job. But the big thing is, and I think more people are saying that, and I'll come back to this in a minute, so thank you, Q7. I really appreciate that. We'll continue talking about this. I think, where was it? Sorry, I did see the comment. Troy said it. He said, I'm really positive about both, but just have that small little bald man in the back of my mind who tries his hardest to ruin my life day after day. That's the big thing about this, isn't it? It's, we've all got that niggly feeling in the back of our mind of how good would it be if we did, but we know this bloke might not or hasn't in the past. But could he go a long way towards earning brownie points by getting both these centre-backs over the line?
I agree. I think you're right. I think it doesn't change the fact on people's standpoints. I don't think it will do. I think there's going to be a lot of people getting down there to even get to that level. But listen, you're right. What we need to do is just start acting properly in windows. Yes, we need, these 2 players have been linked with us heavily. Now get them done. I read a report that he's Tapsoba's available for 30 million euros. If that's the case, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. Get it done. Put the money down, get him in. And here, listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but imagine we come to the news that actually both Van de Ven and Tapsoba are both turning up at the same time. I mean, it would be comically funny because we've been talking about both those players all window together. Like, as you said earlier, you said about we seem to just use we've been talking about them like they know each other. They don't, but it would be poetic if both of them just came in the same day, and it was the Tapsoba one was kept under wraps and it came out last minute with Van de Ven as well. But listen, I think you're right. I think it can earn a bit of brownie points. As I said, we need 2 or 3 defenders. I said if we get 3 in, it will be great. I mean, it'll be okay if it's Longley. I'm a bit skeptical because I think that one's going to end up happening. I don't want Longley to be the second defender. Does that make sense? If he's the third
mate,
one, I'll go.
What I've said, if you've got Romero, if we play a back four and your three main centre halves are Romero, Van der Ven, Tapsoba, and Longley is your fourth choice, I'm cool with that. I don't care.
Yeah.
What I don't want is that Longley's one of your main three, so that you get an injury to one of them, and then Longley's suddenly playing 38 games a season. That's what I don't want. That's only me.
Here's a question for you, because this is the point I made about Longley. Would you rather not sign Longley, but keep Eric Dyer for 1 year and then sign someone in a year's time? Because theoretically, if Longley signs, he'll be signing a 3-year deal, theoretically, give or take. So
sorry, give me that option again.
So the option is not signing Longley, but only signing the two defenders. So we're saying Tapsoba and Van der Ven, but we keep Eric Dyer for 1 more year. And then in 12 months' time, he goes on a free and we sign someone else. For me, that's how I want us to do it. That's what I've said.
Yeah, absolutely. Then in a year's time, you've not got Longley, you've not got Dyer.
Yeah,
you know,
they've not got Sanchez. All these lot are gone.
Exactly. That's how a top club works. What I want to do is in the next 18 months, I want to see Spurs go to a point where you're looking at all four centre halves going, oh, that's a good batch. You know?
Yeah.
And then
agreed.
I want us to get to the point where we've got four. I don't mind if the four centre halves were Tapsoba, Van der Ven, Romero, and Dyer, right?
Yeah.
For the year. Then behind Dyer, maybe a Dorrington. If we have a crisis, maybe Dorrington or Sayers get some minutes.
Yeah.
But that would need 3 of the 4 centre halves to be injured, right?
Yeah,
which is very unlikely. What I don't want to see for the next 2 years is Tanganga, Roden, Dyer, Davis, Sanchez, Longley. Like when you look at those 6 centre halves I just named, it makes me go, oh, like
worrying,
I don't think you could make a centre back pairing out of those 6 that get you promoted from the Championship.
No, of course. But you're right in what you say. Realistically, if we say we want 6 centre halves, you want 2 starters, 2 squad players, and 2 youngsters. Realistically, that's if we're going to play it really simple, that's how you want it, because then that way you trickle down. It'll be nice to get, and that way, what that does also, Sav, it allows promotion up. So it allows these youngsters to be in the mix of the first team. Maybe not starting, but what it does allow, it allows them, they're in the mix, and it means that they can learn from the likes of a Romero or a Tapsoba or a Van der Ven. And it allows a trajectory for these young lads. We don't seem to have that at Spurs.
No, I agree. Just quickly, a big up to everyone. There's 484 of you in the chat. Smash that like button. 484. We should be on 300 likes easily, and we're only on 200. That means nearly 300 of you haven't bothered to smash the like button, which is really, really tight. Please subscribe. We've only had 4 subscribers throughout the whole show. Subscribe to Perchy. Let's get to 7,100 in the next 45 minutes. That's only 15 subscribers in the next 45 minutes, and there's 484 of you.
Come on.
NVP, you would have heard me. Listen, loved having Tobes and Fuad on Sunday.
Great watch, by the way.
Great guys. You heard me say I disagreed with them both. I didn't want Ndombele. I don't agree with this narrative that, he's a great option off the bench. For me, you don't pay £65 million for a player, have him for 4 bad years, and then say, oh, you're a good option off the bench. For me, cut your losses. I want players coming off the bench that want to play. I want young, hungry players coming off that bench. I'd rather see Alfie Devine given minutes off the bench than Ndombele. Loads and loads of comments. So we'll go through as many as possible.
And just a hint on that last bit at the end of it, by the way, I just want to say there's no unconscious bias in this. I don't want to say that because I'd rather Pape Matar play over him. So I went.
I've heard that one loads. Yeah, I've heard that.
Do you know what I mean? Pape Matar is the sort of player I'd rather in midfield because he works his absolute socks off. Every time I've seen him play, works his socks off.
Phil P saying Savva is the opposite of Ndombele. All work rate, no flair or touch. Phil, come around mine tonight. I'll show you a nice loving touch if you want. If that's what we're going for. Where are we? There's so many comments. I do really apologise if I haven't got to them. Harry Kane is going to be on Hot Ones. I have no idea what Hot Ones is.
Wait, you've never watched Hot Ones? Where have you lived?
Is that? What is it?
So it's a guy called Sean Evans, he's a presenter, and it's a YouTube channel.
Is it in America?
It's in America. It is absolutely brilliant, by the way, because he gets like high-end celebrities on and stuff like that, and they basically eat chicken wings. It goes from relatively mild to super like blow your head off spicy, and it's an interview. But it's one of the best interviews you'll ever see. It's on Thursday. I will be tuning in. It's a great watch.
And Harvey Troy said, looking beefy. I don't know what that means. Like, what's that mean?
No, that's just him. That's just him saying that you're working hard at the gym. He's only going because the missus is dragging him there. That's why. Come on.
Only because I've hit that age where anything you eat stays with you if you don't burn it off.
I know the pain.
Yeah. Let's get back to the football. Yeah, I agree. We've definitely got to stop. That's not easy to say. We've got to stop stockpiling junk. That was not an easy sentence to read out.
Quickly.
Well, I would say lots of people saying, hang on, let me come to this first. Can't be rude. The single parent theory, big up, always big supporters of the channel. Thank you so much. Has said, Ange will use the preseason to break the weak and discover the strong. I like that.
I like that as well.
Buy in, work your guts out, or get out. Ange wants professionals. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thank you for the super chat. I can't agree more. I truly believe that that's what this club needs to be doing. Thank you to whoever just subscribed. Come on, people. 487 of you subscribe to the channel. I'll get to a few more comments in a minute. Lots of people saying, okay, well, you want Ndombele then let's get rid of Skip. I don't rate Skip. That's the wrong player to be throwing at me. Skip, I think, is here because he's homegrown. Skip, I think, is here because if you look at last year with the number of injuries we had in midfield, we needed him as a squad player. Now, I've got no problem with Skip being a squad player.
Agreed.
I just don't think Spurs, if we've got any ambitions to do anything, should be having him in the 11. That's only me.
I agree. I think what you've said here is spot on. I think Skip, technically not a great player, but the one thing I think that Postecoglou will like about him is, as I said, he works hard. He's not the greatest player in the world, and we've had this discussion all the time. But the one thing you will get with someone like Skip is he'll work hard for the team, regardless of how good he is. And I think something like that, you need players like that, not to start, but if you need someone to come off the bench, if you need someone in midfield, you've got a squad player. He's not the long-term future, but he could be the short-term, in air quotes, stopgap, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Guys and girls, keep smashing the likes, keep subscribing. 15 more subscribers in 45 minutes. That's all I'm asking for. Somebody here has said, I did see it, and Paul said, sorry, Savva, half those centre-halves you mentioned will still be with us. Listen, we had this chat in a WhatsApp group yesterday. You can't get rid of everyone in one window. Let's be brutally honest. I think this window, you're going to see Sanchez leave. Right, I think you will see. I think maybe a Tanganga will go.
Yep,
as well. I think possibly Roden will go, and we've already sent Longley back. The problem is you can't just say him. Imagine we said in one window, Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, Roden, Tanganga, Longley. I mean, you can't do that unless you're bringing in 4 centre halves to replace them all. So I agree with you. Half of them. Half of them will be with us, but you've got to keep half of them, right? And the lesser of two evils for me is keeping, if you've got Van der Ven, Romero, Tapsoba, the lesser of the two evils for me is then Davis and Dyer. Davis can cover left back and left centre half. Dyer, he speaks Portuguese, which apparently is the thing. And then right backs, you've got Porro, Spence, and Royal. Left back, you've then got Davis can play there, Van der Ven can play there, Adoji can play there, Reggie, Sessegnon, Perisic, a few of them will go. So it's about balancing the squad. But Paul, if anyone thought we were going to change 20 of the 25-man squad in one window.
and also just to I made a point in the group chat, by the way, and this is what I want to say on this, is you might, hear me out, you might start seeing them go once we sign players. You're not going to see them go before. As I made the point, if we got rid of 4 or 5 defenders like that, click of a finger, boom, we've got rid of Davis, we've got rid of Sanchez, we've got rid of Tanganga, Dyer, all this lot. Insert whatever bracket of player you want to get rid of. What that does for every single club in world football goes, Tottenham needs centre halves. So their £30 million player becomes a £50 million player. Their £40 million player becomes a £60 million player. Because they know Tottenham are crying out for centre halves. So then we end up, what we're doing is we're going down a bit and getting £10 million players for £30 million. Realistically, what we're doing actually is the right way. You sign them and then get rid of players.
Yeah. By the way, people put any questions about eating chicken and spice. I'm not going to be doing that. I run a football channel. I'm not going to be talking about chicken wings, just so you know. Philly, I think you've misheard what we said, because the option wouldn't be Longley for 1 year. If you sign Longley, you're signing him on a contract for 3 years or something.
You're keeping him. You're locking him down for 3 years. That's the point here.
Exactly. So the point was, would we sacrifice Dyer for 1 more year in the squad versus having Longley for 3 or 4 years? And I think the answer was yes. For us. Perchy, do me a favor. My dog's crying. Can you could you just talk about something for a minute? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. I'll carry on with what we're saying about this. Philly, what the point was is, would you have Dyer for 1 more year with 1 year left on his contract, or sign Longley on a 3-year contract? For me, take the short-term punishment of having Eric Dyer for 1 more year than having Longley for 3 years. I think that's the key bit. And he's brought the doggy, and I was going to say, watch here, please subscribe to me. We're at 1,121. Can we get more subs over? That'll be lovely. See, I'll do a plug whilst looking after the doggy.
Sorry, he was just crying for some reason. I can't work out why. I think he just felt a bit lonely. And Frank is the face. He's the face. Look, there's the face of Football Heritage TV.
He is Mr. Football Heritage TV.
There he is. Doesn't give a monkeys about which centre halves Tottenham sign. Do you?
Exactly. He couldn't care less.
Don't care. This is my cuddly bear. In the winter, this is my hot water bottle. Yeah.
We need a Frank video where you just put him on the chair and record him, and then this is welcome to Football Heritage TV. I'm Frank, and this is my show now. I take over.
Yeah, I don't know what he was crying about. I just heard him whimpering. Hang on, I'm just going to put him in the bed with his little brother, and there we go. So yeah, I mean, all very interesting. Look, let's get some super chats and some questions from the people. Where are we? So we have got Strasbourg Steve back in again, being very generous. Thank you, Steve. I said Skip is a B-Tech Longstaff, to be honest. Listen, Steve, you know my feelings on Ollie Skip. I think he's a very limited footballer. I don't think he's got great mobility. I don't think he's particularly good with his passing. What he will give you is 100%, but at what point does that not become enough? But Steve, thank you so much. Really appreciate it always, my man. Troy Sharman, big up. Sharman Shram said, hi, Savva, sorry to throw this at you again. Just curious on what Perchy thinks of money plus Sané for Kane. We briefly touched on it yesterday. Can I just check, Troy, are you talking about Sané or Mane? Who are both
I'm assuming it's Leroy Sané, right? Because he plays in Bayern.
I thought he was talking about Mane yesterday, because Mane. I'll tell you what. Let's do both scenarios.
Yeah,
would you take? I think the question was: would you take 70 million for Harry Kane plus Sadio Mane? 70 plus Sadio Mane.
Yeah, 70 million quid and Sadio Mane.
Yeah,
for a Harry Kane with 1 year left that doesn't want to stay at the club. Yes. I think, and anyone that says no, we're talking about Sadio Mane here, by the way. Like when people talk about it, I'd even probably put Leroy Sané in the same kind. I really like Leroy Sané. I thought he was a really gifted player at Man City. I think so. I think that would be a great addition.
Yeah,
I think that would make. And you got to bear in mind, this is a Harry Kane. We're not talking about Harry Kane with a 5-year contract. This is Harry Kane that will go on a free next year, so it would make complete sense.
No, yeah. Ben has said we could get rid of all of them, the defenders, not play anyone, and we'd still concede less goals. Listen, right. I get it. I think the problem is, I think the problem is that we've been subjected to such bad defenders that we just want them all gone. I want them all gone, by the way. I think the only one I've said that I would keep in an ideal world is Romero. This is the only centre-half I would keep, and I would go and get 3 or 4 new centre-halves. Unfortunately, we've accumulated so much junk that I just feel it would be so difficult to say, right, 6 centre-halves go, 4 come in. I'd love it. If I'm wrong on that, please be wrong. Savva, please be wrong. Please let all 6 of those centre-halves go. Paul just said, stop going on about working hard.
What does that
I'm
mean?
sorry. If we're talking about central midfielders, then no. I want my midfielders working hard. I don't know. Isn't it funny? Some people come in, chat football, have a laugh. Other people come in and are just horrible little people, aren't they? Like,
But
I've just had to
at least he's thanking you for the 7K in his name.
I always know you know when you see a name in your chat and you think, oh God, I know it's going to be Aggie. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's going to be Aggie. Like, I've just had to put someone in a timeout because people are Aggie. No, Stewie is a pug. Frank is a French bulldog. Frank is the face. That's why Stewie doesn't love me as much. It is what it is. Guys and girls, 478 of you in the chat. 233 likes, so that means just under 50% have not smashed the like button. Smash that like button, people. Smash the subscribe. We're now 10 away from the 7,100 mark. Smash that subscribe button. Kudos has said Frank was whimpering because he wants Van der Ven. I'm sure he was. That or a treat from the dog cupboard.
The latter more likely.
The moment I said the T word, his ears just went. He's looking at me like, what? Loads of questions. Was Frank crying over long gap? It's unbelievable. Pranay has said this about 9 times, so clearly wants me to talk about it. And said, Savva, I'm seeing so much Vlahovic joining a Prem team talk. So on that Serbian note, does Mitrovic deserve the attention of top clubs, albeit different styles, but Prem proven?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised somebody like look, there's clubs that need a centre forward. I'm surprised maybe a Chelsea haven't looked at Mitrovic. I don't know.
Agreed. I agree.
Listen, I don't think he's the world's best, but in this era where the number 9 doesn't seem to exist, I don't know. What do you make of it? Mitrovic, should he be getting talked about by better clubs?
I think Mitrovic is one of those weird ones, which I think like he's a weird one because everyone goes, oh, he's a bit rubbish him, isn't he? And then he goes and has a season like last and go, oh, he ain't a bad player. He's so Marmite with people. You either love Mitrovic or you hate him. I think he's a good player. I'm shocked that there's not a Champions League team that wants to go in for someone like him. When I say Champions League team, I don't just mean in the Premier League. I mean just collectively in world football in Europe. I just think he's better than Fulham, but then he'll sit there and he'll go and score a load of goals and doesn't really like throw like much of a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Troy was talking about Sadio Mane. Listen, I think if somebody's saying to you 70 million plus Sadio Mane, who's going to give you a couple of years, Sadio Mane and Son going forwards. I mean, there's a lot of pace there. It would terrify the bejesus out of teams. Why not? Jeep has said refusing. Some of the pictures that you get on people's thumbnails are just astounding. Refusing in excess of 80 million for Kane is the same as saying you would pay an 80 million loan fee for Kane for a 1-year deal. I think the thing is, so far we've not had 80 million. I think if we look at it, we've had 80 million euros, which is 68 million pounds. I think the question will be asked of Daniel Levy once it is 80 million sterling north.
So realistically, the question here is it's slightly different to what Jeep has just said here. The question realistically with Harry Kane is Harry Kane's output. How much does Harry Kane in a year's output cost Tottenham? I mean, is it worth the Tottenham? Sorry. So, because obviously he's got 1 year left. Let's just put this is hypothetical. He doesn't sign a new contract. Obviously, he could go and sign a new contract, and this conversation's redundant. But how much is Harry Kane's output worth to Tottenham right now? Theoretically, let's just say he has a season like last. He gets 30 goals. How close to his 30 goals prop us? Does his 30 goals this season get us into the Champions League is the question. Because realistically, that's the $1 million question. Because if Harry Kane goes on a free, but he's got us into the Champions League, then realistically, then we've paid the price to get him there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Just quickly away from Tottenham, but this has just made me laugh. Lazio president Latito has said Al Halil offered less than the 50 million euros for Milenkovic-Savic, but I want the documents signed. Otherwise, he'll travel for pre-season camp. In 2018, I rejected a 140 million euro bid from AC Milan for Milenkovic, and I've no regrets about that.
Wow. But then
140 million euros.
But then again, it's very much like it that they don't want to sell to a competitive rival.
Of course,
we
of
argue.
Course,
we said we had the same debate with Luka Modric. We rejected a bigger offer from Chelsea just so we got him out of England and let him go to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
but 140 million euros is balmy.
Paul has said, would you dance with the devil and deal with Chelsea? A Kane swap for Colwill, Gallagher and Brozier. Listen, first of all, I can't see this ever happening.
No.
I'd want Colwill, Gallagher and someone else. I don't know about Brozier. Not for me. Not for me, this deal.
Yeah, Brozier's a weird one. I like him, but I don't think he's Tottenham level right now. Gallagher, I like him. I think he's a hard worker. But then again, is it the way you have to debate that one is do Colwill, Gallagher, and Brozier give enough of the output that Harry Kane will? No. So why no? You'd have to throw a load of money in that as well.
Yeah, I think Cole will be a good player. I do think he will be a good player. Yeah. I think people need to relax them. And they're talking about sort of 70, 80 million for a bloke that's played 17 games on loan at Brighton. But, I think he'll be a good player. Conor Gallagher is one that I think would thrive in a pressing system. I think Poch will like him for that reason.
Agreed.
I think whether we like Gallagher or not, I think his pressing, his work rate, and there was some data going around a while back about he's one of the best players in the Premier League from midfield, going and linking up, going and joining in. He goes forward quicker than others. But hey, listen, he's not for everybody. Let's go. There's some super chats and stuff going on here. Single Parent Theory again. Thank you very much. As said, I can see Ange doing a fitness session with an AFL club while in Perth. Let's see what Ndombele and others think about work rate after that.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Well, wouldn't shock me actually. That would be something Ange would do as well. That wouldn't shock me. That'd be quite good to see.
Absolutely. And then Strasbourg Steve again with I think his third or fourth. Thank you so much, Steve. Has said, do not get me started on Latito, bro. Okay, I won't get you started on Latito. But I mean, 140 million euros. I mean, it's good knowledge to have. Thank you so much.
So what is Steve's Italian club, Steve? Put it in the comments. I've forgotten what it is. Was it Lazio?
Who is your Italian club?
Is it Lazio?
By the way, let's keep, guys and girls, 465 of you in here, only 244 likes. It's getting really tight in here.
Come on.
Some YouTubers won't start their show until they've got 200 likes. So smash that like button. We need 8 more subscribers to get 7,100 and subscribe to Perchy. Surely not all 456 now have subscribed. Please subscribe if you haven't.
Get me about 20 odd and I'll be on 1,150. That'll be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Would you take 60 or 70 million and Sancho for Harry Kane?
No.
Let's say 70 million, Jadon Sancho, take it or leave it, Spurs, go.
No, not for Jadon Sancho. I think the one thing we don't need is another winger. I think if we're going to say in our positions right now, the one place we don't need is a winger, right? I mean,
I'll play devil's advocate. I have not given my opinion yet, by the way. You could then put Sancho on the left and Sonny through the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that could work. I mean, I like Jadon Sancho is one of those. I actually think Jadon Sancho would work at Tottenham. A lot of people say, nah, he's not. I hear that he's washed. I went based on what? I mean, I think actually, do you know what? I have a feeling that Jadon Sancho could be very similar to the in the ballpark of Wilfried Zaha. I think he went to Man United rather quickly. When Zaha came back, everyone went, nah, he's a good player, him. He went back to Palace and then he sort of stagnated there. For me, though, saying that, I think I would prefer not making that deal. Yeah, please, that'd be lovely. And not doing that, but getting a Wilf Zaha on a free. I mean, wouldn't that be if we'd sold Harry Kane here? Let's just go back to the 100 million to Bayern Munich, and then did what you said, put Son down the middle, but then sign Wilf Zaha out on the left, or in whatever way you want to do it with the 3. Wouldn't that be better business than doing that?
Mate, listen, I agree. I'm not. Sancho for me is one of those. Look, everybody who watches me enough, everyone who speaks to me enough about football knows that I don't overrate players. I like consistency. Do it year in, year out. Yeah, there's players I look at and think, yeah, you've got potential. There's players I look at and say, yeah, you've had a good season. But for me, Sancho's always one of those ones where I've put in the bracket of talented, but really inconsistent, and I don't know what he really is.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
That's all. Let's read people's thoughts on this. Lots of people, big no. Palcic said, Son as a striker is scary in a good way. In the Skies has said, no, he is dead. Adrian Parker, big up channel member, has said, Sonny plays well through the middle for a career. He shows nothing in United. Sancho is too sluggish for the Prem. Plays Son in the middle.
Yeah. I think Son down the middle is a great shout, by the way. I mean, again, Philly's got a great point here. James Maddison feeding Heung-min Son is quite a good look, isn't it?
Yeah. Question from Phil. Would you take 100 million from Man U for Kane? Yes. Or 150 million of Maguire? I'd take 150 million of Maguire all day, every day. I know you're joking, but of course you would. I just wouldn't play him.
Of course.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think one of the big things about the Harry Kane scenario, and we always get back to Harry Kane, and I will get to loads of questions in a minute, is a lot of talk was, well, if Man U do get taken over by the Qataris, that they will go and make an outlandish bid, and that would be Kane, and it would be for huge money. The problem is that takeovers, I don't know what, like it hasn't materialized yet. Can you see in any way, shape or form that Man United whacking a bid for Harry Kane this window in any way? Season starts in 5.5 weeks.
I think you're right in what you say. I think if there was a takeover, we'd hear a big chunk of money slapped down. And I think it would have to be a massive. It would have to be the sort of money that even Daniel Levy goes, no, I've got to sell there. Does that make sense? Like it's going to have to be outlandish, as you say, 125, 130 million pound slapped on the table, said, there you go, we want Harry Kane. And you go, and do you know what? That would be the only way I'd go, yeah, go on then. I'd be like, I would happily lose 20, 30 million pound and him go to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid outside of the Premier League. For me, this is exactly the point where I say though about him going on a free. When everyone goes, no, we need to keep a hold of him on a free because it's Harry Kane. But then that allows him to go for nothing to a competitive rival.
Yeah, I mean, this is the difficulty. I mean, Morton Barley has said PSG supposedly.
Yeah, I saw that.
The biggest words in football I love. Big up Morton Barley. By the way, Morton Barley is if you didn't know Perchy, don't say his name, but is the person I recently added into our WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Okay. So PSG supposedly lining up a Cash and Fabian Ruiz deal for Harry Kane. Would that interest Daniel, you reckon? My question is not whether it would interest Daniel. Would Harry Kane want to go to Paris Saint-Germain?
Just to sort of answer the first question, would it interest Daniel Levy? Yes. I think Daniel Levy at the moment definitely wants to sell him abroad. I think if Daniel Levy had his way right now, and if 100 million pounds was on the table and it was a non-British English side, he'd be gone now. The deal, he would have had it down and Harry Kane would have had it. Would Harry Kane want to go to PSG? I don't know. I think, but then again, you argue and go, I mean, look at some of the, I mean, would he want to not play alongside Mbappe right now? I mean, yeah, we know there's obviously the talk about that. He might be going, but I don't know. It's a weird one because I get the point, but I mean, imagine, here's the caveat to it though. Kane could go to PSG and Kane could be the reason that PSG win their first ever Champions League. Now, imagine that for legacy. I think when we talk about legacy and stuff, and we talk about Harry Kane's legacy, imagine his legacy at PSG. I'm not advocating him going to there. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate for the point. Kane could go to PSG and could win them their first ever Champions League. A thing that ever since the Qataris have gone into PSG, their aim has to be to win the Champions League. Imagine if Kane goes in and next season PSG lift the Champions League and it's because Harry Kane's gone and scored the winning goal in the final. I'm just being devil's advocate. Would you argue that he could have had one of the biggest legacies at PSG being there for 12 months? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's an interesting. I'm sorry, that was Amazon. Yeah, I think my missus buys everything in the world that she sees from Amazon.
And they always turn up when you're on stream, I've noticed.
Do you know what? If I don't stream I am actually streaming at 4 today and at 10 today. If I don't stream for 4 hours, though, I guarantee I sit there and there's no knocks at the door. Let's get to some questions. There's been loads of questions. I mean, what is good about being a Spurs fan, right, is we've always got debatable stuff to talk about, right? We're always at loggerheads of each other. But please, what I will say, I think as the channel's grown, we've got rid of loads of trolls and it's all football, right? It's just football. If I think Spurs should sell Kane this window and Perchie doesn't, it doesn't mean that, oh my God, you love the club more.
It's just a debate, guys, isn't it? Just football. When people say, and also another thing, when everyone says, oh, it's all you lot talk about, because I had that one, all you talk about is, of course it is. Harry Kane's our best player.
Yeah.
Of course. And it's talking news across everywhere. So of course we're going to talk about it. And whenever something new.
What makes me laugh is a report will come out, which YouTubers love. We'll go, oh my God, have you seen this? What happened? People go, all you do is report. Well, yeah. And you watch it. Like, do you know what I mean? Isn't that the whole point? Let's have a look. We've got some super chats to get to first. I've got one that I've missed. Here we go. Phil P has said Dyer and Maguire would be the Legion of Dumb. Do you know the worrying thing, Phil, for me, is that both of them get called up by Southgate.
I was going to say, Gareth Southgate picks that as his back, back three, doesn't he?
That's the worrying thing. That's the worrying thing. Guys and girls, we are going to go for another 20 minutes. Please smash the like button. We have got 271 likes and there's 470 people in here and being really tight today with the likes and with the subscribers. We need 8 more to get to 7,100. Let's go through some quick fire questions, Perchie. We'll go through these as quickly as we can. In one sentence or more, are you getting a director of football or Ange going to make his own signings?
I'm going to say no, because if a director of football was coming, we would still be hearing about it. And the fact that we haven't tells me that it hasn't. So I don't think so.
I agree. I don't think we will. I think we'll see how it goes with Ange dictating who he wants. Apparently, he tried to get Van der Ven last year at Celtic. So looks like a player that he knows and has monitored and clearly said to the board, hey, I want this bloke. Thank you, Neil Gunner, for that chat. Terry Rizopoulos has said, anything happened with Alex Scott? I hope we don't have a conversation about regretting it in a few years if we don't get him. Perchie, the last I heard was that West Ham were the heavy favourites for Alex Scott. But I do very much think this will be another one in a few years' time that we'll look and go, oh, why don't we sign players like that when we have the chance?
I agree. I think Alex Scott, I think we need to really act quick and get someone like him in because one, I think he gets straight into and I had this debate with Sean, big up Sean, by the way, and I had a big debate with him because he said, does Alex Scott get straight in? I went, right now he does with Bentancur injured. I think he gets straight into the team. I don't even think it matters if a player gets straight in. You've got to constantly be thinking about the future. You've got to. But I think it's now and the future, in my opinion. It's the present and the future because I think Alex Scott gets an opportunity straight away.
I agree. He's a very talented footballer.
He is.
He's a very talented footballer. For me as well, Postecoglou likes to make a lot of substitutions in a game. So if this is someone that wants to utilise making 5 subs in a game, cool. Then you need the players to bring off the bench. But
agreed.
I think Spurs have been at their best in the past when we've been signing young players. I've been through this loads. Danny Rose, Carl Walker, Aaron Lennon, Tommy Huddleston, Jermaine Defoe, Dele Alli. When we got all these young players and then Gareth Bale and they moved through with us.
Agreed. Absolutely bang on.
Next question is from Chillen Lou, who said maybe Miami could go in for him. I think this was in regards to Lo Celso. I don't know if they have any interest.
I'll be honest, I don't think so. I think look if you see who Miami are signing, they're trying to bring back Barcelona.
Busquets, Alba, and Messi.
Yeah. I mean, all they need to do is convince Iniesta to go and play, and then maybe ask Xavi if he can come for a testimonial, and then they've got the team back, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got the gang back
together. They might even go and sign Suarez or someone.
Absolutely. Guys and girls, we're going to go for 15 more minutes. We're going to rattle through these questions. Please, please, please please subscribe. It really does help. MCE TV, Man City TV has said, question, is Royal going to stay this season? It'll be interesting to see if the gaffer uses Spence. Spence and Royal.
I think Royal will stay. I think the one thing that we'll give, I don't think Emerson Royal is an amazing football player, but the one thing he does is, again, he's a hard worker. Even though he's not the greatest, I think he will work hard under it. I think Spence will get an opportunity. I genuinely think he'll give an opportunity to the likes of Jed Spence. I think it's hard when so many people judge Jed Spence, I think, in my opinion, quite harshly. They're like, oh, he's crap, blah, blah, blah. I went, well, let's be honest. I mean, apart from a couple of bit part substitutions, he didn't really play. So we can't really judge it. We'll judge the likes of Jed Spence this season. You got to bear in mind, we've got a few right backs now. Porro, Emerson, Spence. So let's kind of realistically see what happens there. But yeah, I think you'll keep Emerson defensively better.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we'll keep him. I don't rate him one bit. I think he's one of those that we've bought for 32 million without scouting. And
he's also one of those that I don't think he's a priority to get rid of. Does that make sense?
I agree. I agree.
He's one in 12 months' time when we can do proper scouting, and then go, do you know what? We're going to offload him because we've got this person in. If that makes sense, in a 12 months' time.
Absolutely. Where are we? Phil Coy, big up Phil Barnett, has said, if we get a 6 in and another winger along with Tapsoba and Van der Ven, how would you rate the window and would you add more? It would be a really good window. I don't tend to do the 7, 8, 9 out of 10 thing.
Not a 10 out of 10 like last season. God, don't start that one.
I think it would be a brilliant window. It would be a brilliant window. I'd always have more if the availability comes up. I think if you can shift the players out, look, if you get Van der Ven and Tapsoba plus Solomon signing, we've got Maddison plus Vicario. I think we're at that stage then where you've got to start seeing some outgoings. You've got to players have to get off the books. So if you can say, all right, Winks has gone, Danjuma and Longlay's loans are finished, Lloris goes, Winks goes, Sanchez goes, Lo Celso goes. Now you're starting to get 6 or 7 out, 6 or 7 in. So I think it would be a great window.
Agreed.
Chris Lewis has said, Savva, if Spurs get any signing they want, if Spurs get the signings they want, what would your expectations be for the upcoming season? Great show, lads. Look, for me, as I said, I'm not one that's put in a. I'm trying to stay away from predicting where I think we should finish because I think. I think this is going to be a real difficult year in terms of transitioning from a club that's had no heart, no soul, no style of football, no ethos, no strategy for about 5 or 6 years to a team that will want to play a certain way under a manager. So I think for me, as long as we are anywhere between sort of 5th and 8th, I'm happy as long as what I see on the pitch starts to move forward. That's what I want to see. Herchie?
For me, my expectation stays exactly the same. I have none. As I said, no, the expectation is we don't get relegated. I don't think we will. My point being is for me, we won't, but my point being is we won't get relegated. So for me, I don't really care where we finish. We could finish first to 17th. I wouldn't care. I just want to see a cohesive football team. I don't want to see what we had last season where it was completely and utterly all over the place. I want to see us give it a go. I use the term give it a go. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, I just want to see us go full strength in Premier League, so in cups. Listen, but then obviously we've got to bear in mind we might end up bumping into like big teams, but try and see if you can pick up a cup on the way. But listen, why not? I just want to see us. I just want to. Do you know what? I just want to enjoy watching Tottenham again because I lost all the love last season.
I agree. That's where I am at the moment. I think we've got to realise it doesn't happen overnight. Suddenly becoming a very good team that play great football every week and know each other inside out doesn't happen overnight. And Andrew's got a big job.
So I'm seeing people going, he has to get back into the Champions League. I was like, what crowd are you lot in? Like what world are you in? Like, we're nowhere near that.
If he does, he's manager of the season. If he gets us Champions League football, he's done brilliantly.
Yeah, agreed.
Paul, just really quickly, why does Skip play? This was when we were talking about Ndombele. Skip plays. I think Skip's played because we've had loads of injuries, really.
Injuries and he's not a bad egg, if that makes sense. He's not. He's playing because he's a young lad that they're just trying to. He's a hard worker. That's the key one.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil P has said, "Is anyone else seething about the ticket price hikes?" Look, I don't go because I won't put money in their coffers.
Agreed. Same.
Phil, you go. Fans like you are the ones that go and pay him. But yeah, on a serious note, the ticket price hikes are just disgusting. It's absolutely everything wrong with this football club. It's for reasons like the ticket price hikes that I expect Van der Ven and Tapsoba. Yeah, I expect a defensive midfielder to come through the door.
But someone in the group chat said that they worked it out and said realistically, all that's done is gaining us £2 million. It's not even a dent on some of these transfers. And I think that's the bit that's irritated. But for me, I make my point clear on it. It's all well and good being angry about the price hikes. But last season, under playing some of the worst football we had, that stadium on average was filled by 99.2%. So the only way we get change on pricing is if you don't go. But you're all going. I don't go. I stopped paying money into the system. I have done for 2 years. Then for me, that's the key part. You can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah, I Phil, listen, I don't disagree. Listen, we could, but so fifth could be doable, but you've got a lot of teams there. You know, you've got Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle that are all better than us at the moment. Now Brighton and Villa as well. So fifth could be doable. I'm not saying we can't get it, depending on signings, but I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, well, if he doesn't get fifth, he's had a bad year. No. It's going to take. I don't think football fans take into account how long it takes to bed a new team in and a new system.
Agreed.
Hey, that's just me. Just quickly for the last 9 minutes. Hey guys, big up Troy. Hey guys, I missed the very beginning and I'm sure you've touched on it already. I don't want to take up your time, so just a one-word comment on Ange's presser. So his press conference yesterday, I was really, really impressed. He said all the right things, and he said the one thing that I wanted to hear from a manager for a long time: philosophy. Create a philosophy.
I agreed, and just to sort of echo what you said, I agree. I think he speaks really well. And do you know what? The one thing is he made me want to run through a brick wall with him. So for me, that is such an important bit. He speaks really well. He's got a good sense of humor. Like, I loved his sense of humor. Like, it wasn't dull, was it? Like, and listen, and before people start saying, "Oh, you're jumping on Conte," watching Conte's press conferences bored the hell. Like, it was miserable. At least with this guy, we've got a guy in here, and this is the bit that I love about Postecoglou. Genuinely do. I love it. Is that he's here because he feels like he's earned the right to be here. Not the fact that I felt Conte was here feeling he was doing us a favour. And I felt in patches he was just doing us a favour, and it really, really he ate away at me. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I just can't stand it. We're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We're not like any football club is bigger than an individual. And I feel with Postecoglou, he comes across really well. I love the bit when he said about the bit he said, he went, "Oh, we had a sweepstake in the back about what moment you were going to talk about Harry Kane." Jedinak went and won the bet, it looks like. I love that because it makes me feel
I just feel like he feels like a man-to-man manager, somebody who will get the fans. And listen, I can't, if I say anything about Conte, people get really upset with me. He just wasn't for me in any way, shape or form. I didn't like his press conferences. I didn't like his tactics. I didn't like really a lot about him. He's a winner. Yeah. Let him go and win somewhere else. Let's see where he ends up. Just quickly, and off the back of this, Paul, as we just said, you're saying, do you think Levy put price up to fund both deals? Seems strange. Look, the putting the prices up, the only person that affects is the payer. is the person paying it. In terms of Spurs, it works out to something like under 3 million a year difference in price they make, which isn't the difference between signing both players or not. So I don't think it is. I just think it's what they do. They squeeze as much money as possible and grow incrementally. That's why I don't like them. But Daniel Harris has said, anyone know why all our activity is revolving around the Bundesliga this season? We seem to focus on one league per window. Well, look, if you look at it, James Maddison's come from England. Vicario's come from Italy. So far at the moment, we haven't signed anyone from England. We haven't signed anyone from Germany. But I hear you, mate. Listen, and for the people that call the German league the Farmers League, watch that league. There's good players everywhere. There are good players all over Germany. Good teams in Germany that get belittled a lot.
Agreed.
Wayne Fairclough said McTominay and Maguire plus 30 million for Kane. No thanks.
No. Next question.
No, thank you. Sorry.
No way, Jose.
What we don't want to do is get rid of all our deadwood just to bring in all of Man United's deadwood.
Yeah. Fund Man United's deadwood. 30 million quid as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. Ben, we just talked about this. I think Percy gave a really good answer in regards to his press conference. I guess let's see. Some of the tests will be, what are his press conferences like when we lose a game? If we take a battering, how does he handle that? So let's see. But I really liked it. Craig has said, by the end of the window, will we get both? Will we get both? I'm guessing that's meant to be
Van de Ven and Tapsoba. I'm assuming that means,
fingers crossed. I'll be so disappointed if we only get one of them, knowing what we need, but I won't be shocked.
Yeah, I think you made a great point about it. I think Daniel Levy can put a little bit of credit back in his bank. He's not got a lot of credit if he gets both in and gets both in quickly. I think the key point is quickly here. It's all well and good. It looks like Van de Ven might happen this week, maybe beginning of next week. The idea is getting both in before the start of the season. Realistically, it'd be nice to get them in before pre-season, but as long as you can get the likes of Tapsoba on a way there. Big up, Troy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, big up, Troy. Big up to all the channel members. Big up to everyone in the chat. We have got 4 minutes left away from 7,100, which would be absolutely mad, and be nearly 300 subscribers in just over 24 hours. Please subscribe to Perchy as well. Help Perchy on his way. Where are we? Smudger has said, tell me, what does Longley offer Spurs? Also, who are the game changers off our bench other than Solomon if we're chasing a goal? Now, Perchy, for me, I look at it and think that is something that's slowly being addressed. First of all, Longley for me doesn't offer anything other than backup. For me, I don't think I've got a lot to add to that. The game changes off our bench. I think now what you start to look at is, already this window, we've brought in Solomon, Maddison. So it means you're attacking players so far. Obviously, things can change. Players can be sold. Your attacking players so far for next season are Maddison, Solomon, Brian Hill, Richarlison, Kulusevski, Son, and Kane. Now, from that 7, you should have enough off the bench and in the starting 11 for me. I don't think that's the worst 7 I've seen. Would I love an upgrade on Hill and Richarlison? Sure. Can we do all of that in one window? I don't think so. I mean, what do you make of it, Perchy?
No, I think what you've got there is you're starting to see, and I think the key word is starting there. We're starting to see a bit of a change. I think you've got to remember what we're doing is our business is very much one out, one in, one out, whichever way you want to call it. Solomon realistically replaces the likes of Lucas Moura, who we got rid of, but he's a 24-year-old, not a 31-year-old, 32-year-old, or however old he was. It doesn't really matter. Hodgod made a good point. You could also see the likes of Porro might even be joining that attacking lot as well. And so I don't think it's that bad. I think Brian Hill, we might sort of see a little bit more. The jury's still out on Brian Hill. I understand why people want to write him off, but let's see. He's one of those. And when people go, oh, you're a hypocrite because you don't want to see it, but Brian Hill's one of those I'd like to see under Postecoglou, because I felt he came in and then he was a bit part player, and then everyone kind of went, oh, he's rubbish. But he hardly played again. He wasn't starting much. He's not going to maybe start a lot more. But as you said, Postecoglou likes substitutions. I wouldn't mind Brian Hill coming off the bench with 20 minutes to go. High energy. And let's be honest, when he did come off the bench, when he did sign for us, people went, oh, do you know what? He isn't the full package, but he's got something about him. And it's one of those, I think you're right, but it gives you 12 months. It does give you 12 months to go, do you know what? Let's assess it. Let's assess the next 12 months with the likes of Brian Hill, see what Solomon does, see what these attacking players do. Let's be frank and honest, Sav. Our issue last season wasn't going forward. We were scoring bag loads of goals. Our issue was
I agree.
defending.
But this is why I find it so funny. Like when someone's like C to the fourth, like says, I find this person odd. Lot of crap in that 7. Let's be honest. Son, Kane, Kulusevski, Maddison, Solomon. These are not crap footballers.
We were the 4th highest goal scorers last season.
These are not crap footballers.
Statistically, we were the 4th best attacking team in the league. Our issue was we were the 5th worst defensive team in the league. That's the difference.
Now, as you said, add Porro to that as well.
Yeah.
We don't know. We might get more players there. But again, C to the fourth, for me, comes out with the worst opinions in the chat. Like you said, having good players doesn't mean the league isn't a farmers' league. It's a farmers' league because all other teams sell their players to Dortmund and Bayern. You mean like West Ham just sold Declan Rice to Arsenal?
Arsenal. Yeah, and
Kovacic just sold... Sorry, Chelsea just sold Kovacic to Man City. It doesn't. I mean, it makes no sense. The problem is, hang on, but you get me. The problem is with this is all of the clubs sell to all of the other clubs in the league. The problem is you only hear about the top players moving to Dortmund and Bayern, the same way the top players only move to the top clubs in England.
Yeah.
The problem is I can guarantee a fan like this doesn't watch the German league at all, reads a few things about Bayern and Dortmund, and then makes their decision on the league. And that is why, if people don't watch a league, they shouldn't comment on it.
But let's look at Spain. We say this: Espanyol, the team I watch out here, got relegated. Their star striker's just gone to Real Madrid.
Mate, do you know what?
It happens everywhere. Happens in every league.
It didn't even matter.
Everywhere.
He's one of those. I can't deal with this guy. I'm going to end the show. I just want to say, when you said Gil did nothing in La Liga, he just won the Europa League. Yeah,
he won the Europa League.
I think we've got to look at it right. I think we've got to look at it like this. Yeah, but okay, it's a farmers' league because Bayern have won it something like 10 seasons in a row. Okay. Man City have won 5 of the last 6 Premier Leagues.
Yeah,
if Man City win the league again this year, that's now 6 of the last 7, right?
Yeah.
PSG have won something like 8 of the last 9 in Holland.
If the Premier League's the Farmers League, let's be honest. If that's how we're judging it,
most leagues are. The Italian league is probably different, and the Dutch league has started to get a bit different. But this whole notion that it's only in Germany and France, England is becoming the same. Someone rises up every now and then, right, and challenges Man City. Then they go away. Arsenal challenge City. That I reckon they'll drop off a little bit. Someone else will challenge City. City will win the league more often than not.
But it happens all the time, though. This is what people miss out when they say this is why I feel like the Premier League gets put on such a pedestal, and it does annoy me a little bit. A little bit gets me wound up because I said each club has an era in the Premier League. You had the Man United dominance back in the early noughties when they were winning realistically every season.
Of course.
And then Chelsea went and won it a load of times.
Of course.
And do you know what I mean? Now Man City are winning it all the time. So it happens. Yeah.
I think the difficulty with this is it's like anything. You look at the tennis, how often are you going to bet against Novak Djokovic? Right? It's in boxing. How often are you going to back against Usyk? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, the problem is this. First of all, the term Farmers League is stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's not a Farmers League. That doesn't make any sense. Second of all, right, I hate people that don't do their research of other leagues. I can't stand it, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Like when people go to me, oh my God, if you look at La Liga, it's a 2-team league. But if you break down La Liga in the last 20 years versus the Premier League in the last 20 years, I think both of them have had like 5 different winners of the competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's lazy. People don't want to look into it. In our WhatsApp group the other day, my God, Bayern win the league easily every year. Bayern won the league this year on goal difference.
And they only won it because Borussia Dortmund completely threw it away on the last day of the season.
Right.
Completely threw it away.
Absolutely. So listen, going back to the whole point of this, right? When we're talking about the attacking options for Spurs, when we're saying, first of all, if you've got a front three, let's assume it's Kane, Son and Kulusevski. The three that come in underneath them are never going to be as good as Kane, Son and Kulusevski. You don't have, unless you're Man City, you do not have players. You don't have a Kane sitting on a bench.
Yeah, exactly.
But James Maddison added to that. We've just added a bloke that gets 20 plus goal and assist contributions a season to our forward line. And people are saying, oh, not a lot there. You got Kane who gets 30 plus goals, right? Sonny, who, all right, had a poor year last year, but other than that, will always give you 15 to 20 goals a season. Maddison gives you 15 to 20 goal contributions. Kulusevski hopefully has a better year, right? And yet we're sitting there going, oh, it's not very good. I feel like we're just being silly at this stage. I feel like,
of course, it just gets,
we want too much.
The notion that the Premier League is the be all and end all and every other division is like this sort of nonsense. It's just like, it just, and you made a point, it just shows people don't sit and watch other football. And I think that's the key part. It's there. Exactly.
I think this is right. This is, where is it? I think this is whether we like it or not, Steve, this is it.
Yeah.
The Premier League, it doesn't suit the narrative, but the Premier League is becoming the same way as all the other leagues, right?
But it has been like that though. It's always been like it. It's just narratives.
No, I agree with you. Like, for example, if you look at the Dutch league, I think the Dutch league, who won it this year?
Feyenoord.
Who won it the year before?
Is
it PSV?
May have been.
I'm pretty sure PSV, Ajax, and Feyenoord have won it once each in the last 3 years. If I'm not wrong, someone will tell me if I'm wrong. You look in the English league, right? It's been City, Liverpool, City. You look at the Italian league again. You had Inter Milan, AC Milan, Napoli. So this notion that no other league is competitive and it's only England, I don't think the English league is competitive. No. I think
it's always a couple of teams, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's realistic. It's never 4 or 5. It's 2.
But the thing is, Percy, the fact that Man City sort of toyed about for about 6 months, then went and won the treble. Like, everyone said they're dead, they're finished, they're this.
Yeah.
That's how easily they won the league. They just
didn't even. I said this. I've said this all along. I said what Man City do and what Guardiola does. He goes, do you know what? I'm going to play around it. He does his pre-season in the first 2 months of the season. He tinkers around. He ends up going, do you know? Ends up playing a right back at CDM. I mean, let's be honest. That's the reason why John Stones end up playing as a DM for the end of the season. And then goes last 2 months. Okay, screw it. Let's go and win it all now. And then they just go out and blitz everyone.
I've always been one of these. I've always watched all the leagues that I can from when they've come on from when Spanish football first started coming on Sky, and obviously Italian football in the 90s. And I just think that there's so much bias in this country to every other league is terrible and we're brilliant. And because Sky tell us, like, what I love is when Sky do things like this. Someone will score a last minute winner in a game in England, right? Someone will score a goal in the 94th minute and they'll say, only would this happen in the Premier League? Yeah,
the greatest league in the world.
Of course. No other country sees last minute winners.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
4-4. Yeah. No other country sees a 4-4 winner. You know what I mean? Like, they just say
it's the shout of, this is why it's the best league in the world. What? Because someone scored a 95th minute equalizer and come on. I know you're right.
It is what it is. Listen, I agree with this, Kudos. Sky Sports is a propaganda machine. Everyone who goes on there goes, the best league in the world. Like when Tevez moved over to, where did Tevez go to?
Man City.
But no, out of England. Out of England, he left and went to.
He went to Juventus.
Was it Tevez? There was some player that turned around and said, "Yeah, the Premier League's fast, it's furious, it's exciting." He went, "But the defending in this league is 10 times better." I think it may have been Tevez or someone like that. Anyway, look, I am going to leave it there. It is what it is. Hey,
going.
What can you do?
No,
right.
Thanks.
Sorry, come.
No, I just said thanks for having me on. And I'm going live in 5 minutes if everyone wants to come over and carry on the chinwag.
But by the way, look, again, you're being an idiot. Savva hyping this forward line when you don't even rate Son and Kulu or the starters. Again, a C to the fourth. You know what? I wish I was as childish as you. I've never ever once said I don't rate Heung-min Son. What I've said is I don't think he's world class, right?
Yeah,
there's a huge difference between me rating a player and not thinking they're world class, right? Between Son and Kane, for the last however many years, you are guaranteed 50 league goals minimum, right? So straight away, if our forward is giving us 50 league goals minimum, now adding Kulusevski, who will chip in, Maddison, who will chip in, right? We don't know how many Porro will chip in. How many will Hill score under
Richarlison?
We don't know what they'll do under this manager. So this is it's fans like this that ruin YouTube channels because they lie about things you've said. See the fourth. I'm happy for you to unsubscribe because I don't like when people come on and lie. I've never said I don't rate Kulu. What I said about Kulu is there is talent there, but he's got to show some consistency. Right. So if people like you have the inability to use these, I can't help you, C to the fourth. You're a troll with no name and no picture. Sorry, Perchy. I just can't stand it when people lie.
No,
I've never said I don't rate them.
I've said that. That's the thing is we've not. It's not the. This is the bit that really irritates me, and I'll call it out as well. When you say when people like me, Savva or Sean, or it doesn't really matter. Any insert Tottenham YouTuber goes, do you know what? Son's had a really crap season this season, and Kulusevski equally so. Oh, what does that mean? You don't rate them? No, I think both Son and Kulusevski are both very good players, but they've had a very poor season.
Oh my God, look, ego. Seedville, you said you would take or leave Kulu. If you rate someone, you want them signed 100%. Oh my God, are you thick? Sorry, listen, before I get annoyed, I'm going to end the show, Perchy. Listen, as I said, I would take or leave because there are other footballers you can buy. Do I think Kulu's a talented footballer? Yes. But if there's limited budget, I do think there's other players you can buy that are better. That doesn't mean I don't think he'll contribute. It's unbelievable.
Are we going to end it?
People
are we going to end the stream with the word context?
No, unfortunately, trolls like this don't understand the word context. I'm going to block him from the channel. He keeps doing this in my comments as well, coming in with absolute this. You know what makes me laugh? What makes me laugh, and I know you're going live in 2 minutes, so I'm gonna jump off. What makes me laugh is so many people. I put out a YouTube comment. I'll say, "Oh, what do you think about this?" So many people come in. They want to talk football. They have a football chat. Yeah, then you get idiots that come in and just have to try and dig. See the fourth, not anyone. Idiots like you with no photo, no real name, and people that lie. You're a troll.
The bit that gets me, and this is what I will say to it. If that's your opinion, that's fine. Put some substance to it.
Yeah,
if that's the case, if this is the problem, it's all about context. You could say this person's the greatest in the world, and I'll say no, I think this person is. But I will put my argument and put your argument just by going. This was said. No, neither me, Savva said that Son or Kane are crap. No, I said they've had a bad season. They've had a crap season. But that's justifiable because for me, I put Heung-min Son on a bigger pedestal than the likes of, I don't know, Anthony Gordon. So I'm just chucking a name out there. Do you see what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it makes me laugh. Look, at the end of the day, I just want people to listen to what's being said. Context is such a huge word in football. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that go in the chat and they just hear the one word they want to hear rather than what was actually said. Yeah, Kulusevski having a bad season for me saying that, I feel like I'm justified. Me saying I want to see more consistency, I feel is justified. Right?
Of course.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there, Perchy. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, please get over, subscribe to Perchy, and go and watch his show. I've got a little bit of things I need to do, and I might try and jump on in a bit.
If you want to. And
go
also,
over.
guys, yeah, I was just going to do a little bit of a plug and just say, guys, also on Friday, the charity stream's going. And obviously, I'd love every single one of you in the chat to jump over on that as well. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you know what? Much love to everyone. If you're going to come for me in the chat, at least come to me with truths. Don't come to me with lies. Right. People are getting silly in the chat now. So, right. Leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
as always, here's a little video to see you out. We'll be live at 4 I'll be live at 4 with the boys from Never a Foul Media for the daily transfer show. And at 10 p.m. tonight, we have got the football throwdown, which I think Perchy will be joining a few of the other guys from the other clubs. So join us live 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.